Organizations can handle a lot of records that fall into different categories. For example, leads can differ in sources, types, and priority, and each type might need a different way of handling. Making sense and keeping track of this handling can be difficult and lead to complex distributor filters and logic. In Llama, we're expanding our classifier features and introducing custom classification. Custom classification lets you define and automate record classification rules, leading to more efficient distribution. You can create groups of markers known as stamps, which can be automatically assigned to records based on criteria that you set. For example, identify your highest priority leads based on combination of fields and stamp them with a high priority stamp. You can then use this high priority stamp in your distribution logic to simplify your distributor logic and filter team members easier. Let's have a look at how to set this up in DE. First, let's have a look at how to set up stamp groups. Next, we'll have a look at how they work together with tags, and finally, we'll see how to use them in our distribution setup. Custom classification lives under the Distribution Classifier tab here. The first step is to set up a new stamp group. Here, we select which object this applies to. Currently, this feature is available for accounts, cases, contacts, leads, and opportunities. For my example, I'll use lead. Next, we give it a name. I'll call it priority. Then, we select if it is a single or multiple type. Single means that each record can have one stamp at a time from this stamp group. For example, priority. A single record can be priority 1 or priority 2, not priority 1 and priority 2. Multiple is the opposite, when one record can have multiple stamps from the same group. For example, your prospects may be interested in multiple products from your catalog. You also have the option to synchronize this stamp group with a tag collection. Now let's go ahead and create our stamp group. Next, let's add stamps to our stamp group. We can also set up stamps based on distributor filters. Let's add a stamp and call it priority 1. Next, using the filters, we can specify which lead should be stamped with the priority 1 stamp. In my example, I want it to be based on 3 fields: annual revenue, industry, and rating. I want this to apply only if annual revenue is greater than 500,000, industry equals energy, and rating equals hot. You also have the option to create your own custom logic here. Let's go ahead and create the stamp. Let's add another one called priority 2. And we will set this to be the default stamp. This is in the case when the record isn't stamped with priority 1, it will be stamped with priority 2. To recap, we've created a stamp group and called it priority, and created 2 stamps, priority 1 and priority 2. And because we ticked the synchronize with tag collection, we can open the tag collection from here. This tag collection works just like any other DE tag collection. You can simply apply these tags to your team members, who's eligible to receive priority 1 and who should receive priority 2 leads. Next, let's look at how to use this in our distribution logic. Here I have a distributor called P1. This is my distributor dedicated to my priority 1 leads. The way I make sure that this only distributes my priority 1 leads is by using the stamp group we created earlier here in the field-based filters. Here I've selected DE stamp group, and I've selected the priority stamp group we created earlier, and equals priority 1. So what this means is that this distributor is only going to distribute leads that the classifier has stamped with the priority 1 stamp. In the team member filter, I've selected the by tags option classifier, and I've selected stamp group and the stamp group we created earlier called priority, and the operator includes. So this means that the individual must have a tag with the same value as the stamp on the lead, priority 1 in this case. To recap, we created a stamp group called priority with two stamps, priority 1 and priority 2. We looked at the tag collection that was automatically created, and we looked at an example on how to use this in distribution logic. So to sum up, custom classification is an easy way to streamline your distribution of different types of records by filtering records and team members. This will save you time by not needing to adjust every distributor every time your business logic changes. Just adjust the classifier. And remember, if you have complex distribution logic, get started quickly by importing your distributor logic to a stamp group.